Good morning. Welcome back to Mishmas. We are on day 5. Miss Butters has joined us back there. So cute. I think I just see 2 ears and 1 eye. So, we are enjoying this morning the Nespresso Intenso. This is deep and dense. Wow, what a way to describe coffee. The intensity is 9. I believe it's 9 out of 10. And you'll love to linger over the brown sugar and intense roasted notes of this blend of Arabica, thick with a rare Nicaraguan Robusta. Brown sugar and roasted notes are the signature aromatics of this Virtuo coffee capsule. It's an intense long black with a distinctly lingering aftertaste and a thick coffee crema. It absolutely has a very thick coffee crema. Ooh, brown sugar. I'm not really getting the brown sugar. Oh, maybe. Oh, it's like an aftertaste. It's almost syrupy. Like, you know, when you melt brown sugar? Oh, interesting. What's the body? 5 out of 5 on body. It's slightly acidic, but that doesn't linger. I don't know if it's because the capsule that it comes in was like one of the bigger capsules, so it produces more volume. So it's like 7.7 ounces, something like that, where the basic one is like 5 something ounces. But they keep mentioning this like thickness, and there's definitely a thickness to the head of the coffee, the crema, but not to the actual coffee. I actually feel like it tastes kind of fine, but I think again, it's because there's just a lot of water in here. I like that though. It's bitter. It's definitely really bitter. There's almost like that burnt kind of flavor. It's good though. It's good. All right. Let's get on to opening these advent calendars. Okay, guys. Day 5. Day 5. Here we go. Ooh, one of the darker bottles. The Velvet Rose and Oud. Oh, this is such a good one. You guys know I have the reed diffuser in my guest room. I actually just switched it out. I put a lime basil mandarin in there. But this is so great if you like a deep, rich, like rose fragrance. Oh, it's so nice. Okay, day 5, diptyque. Right up here. Ooh, and we've got the Orpheon EDP. So this is a mixture of tonka and cedar. It's such an interesting mix because tonka is kind of like vanilla bean a little bit. At least that's how I always associate it. And cedar is so woodsy. It's so woodsy for lack of a better word. But the mix is really incredible. Okay guys, I am back. I am showered. I am ready for today's video. We're gonna do a Q&A. I put on that Velvet Rose and Oud from Jo Malone. It's so nice. Like if you love like a really deep, like seductive kind of rose fragrance, I love it. I love it. It's so beautiful. It's not one of those like fresh kind of like rose garden kind of roses. It's much deeper. Anyway, we're gonna do a Q&A. We're gonna do a Q&A. I, asked you guys to ask me any questions you wanted on Instagram and YouTube and my YouTube community tab. And I got a lot of questions on Instagram. So we'll try and get through a lot of them. I don't know if I'll get to all of them. That's almost impossible. I don't want this video to be like 3 hours long. I'll also try and not be too verbose. So let's start, where should we start? Let's start actually with the YouTube one since there were less of those and maybe I can just get through those and then go over to Instagram. Okay, I'm gonna start from the bottom, which I think is the oldest. Actually, I'm not sure now, whatever. I'm gonna start at the bottom. Can you speak other languages? Kind of, I can kind of speak Mandarin. I understand it, like my mom will speak to me in Mandarin. I'll answer her in English, like very typical. And that's it, it's like anything else is just like stuff that I've picked up. Yiddish, Spanish, living in New York City. But yeah, I would say Mandarin is the only other language I can speak. Like when I did go back to China 1,000 years ago, it feels like probably close to 20 years ago, I went back to China. It was actually for work. I could pick it up very easily, obviously because of my background and growing up with it and
you know, all my relatives speak Chinese to me. Yeah, I could pick it up very easily, but right now it is painful for me to try and like string together a sentence in Mandarin. Is very difficult. Okay, next question. How do you sometimes deal with some nasty comments on some of your videos? I can't understand what is in people that are doing that. Personally, don't know how I would handle that. It's tough, you know. Thankfully, I think because I am older, like, you know, I'm pretty good at just letting those nasty comments slide. It's a shame. I always think about the person making the comment. I think about how miserable they must be, or, you know, just angry or upset. I don't know. And they're just taking it out on me or on the comment section. And I will say in the beginning, probably because I got less and because I, you know, hadn't been on social media for that long, it really didn't bother me. I really couldn't care less. But it's like water against a rock. It's like it chips away at you slowly. And I would say over the past couple of years, I will stay away from my comment section if I feel like I know myself pretty well. Like if it's a day where I know it's gonna really bring me down, because sometimes all you need to do is read like one nasty comment and it'll ruin your day. And I feel like if it's one of those days, I just stay off of my comment section. And, you know, it was only recently I was talking to actually a friend of mine, and she was like, you have to focus on the good comments. You know, those nasty comments, there's so few. The good comments, it's like, you know, 99% of my comments are supportive and nice and friendly and community building, which is what I love. And, you know, she was like, you have to focus on those. You cannot focus on like the 5 nasty comments that you'll see in a day, you know, between Instagram and YouTube or whatever. And I'm like, you're right. And it's so easy, right, to focus on the bad comment, like that's the one that will like repeat itself in my head all day, instead of the good one. And so I really try and focus on the good ones. And some days are better than others. Some days I'm like, oh, whatever, like, oh, that poor person, they must be, you know, just so unhappy in their lives, like, okay. And then some days I'm like, so I'll believe it, or, you know, I'll come up with like imaginary responses, you know, and I'm like, just stop it. So you have to have a pretty thick skin. You have to be pretty confident in what you're saying and what you're doing, I think, online, for it not to affect you, and not to affect you negatively in a permanent kind of way. I know it breaks people down sometimes. And I get it. It's awful. It's awful to see bad comments every day. And they usually come in at night, which I think is really interesting. So I'll wake up to nasty comments, and yeah, you really have to be in a good mental place and in a good mental space to be able to like weather that for years. And it's just, you know, it's just kind of a shame. It's just kind of a shame that people feel like they have to put that out there. But yeah, it's just sort of the reality of doing this for a living. And so I just really try and focus on the good comments, of which there's so many more. Oh, someone said, when will we see Lara? We're not gonna see Lara this season. Lara decided to go back to corporate America. She decided, you know, she left her job. And for those of you who are not sure who I'm talking about, Lara is a friend of mine, and she left corporate America. She left to write, you know, the great American novel, and she needed some like part-time work. So I took her on, and she was here last Mishmas. And it was so great. It was so great having her. And so she decided to go back to corporate America because, you know, she decided to kind of put the whole book thing on the back burner, and she wanted to make some like real money. She's great at what she does. She's like an executive assistant. She's fantastic. She needed health insurance, you know, all these things that I couldn't offer her. So I'm happy for her. She's really happy with the gig that she got. So I'm really happy for her, but I'm sad that she's not going to be here for Mishmas this year. So that's Lara's situation. I already asked her, because I knew it would come up, especially during Mishmas, if it was okay if I mentioned that she went back to corporate America. She's totally fine with it. But thank you for asking about her. I love her. Would love to hear about your exercise routine or any skin hair care routine you follow. I do not follow any hair care routine, so that's easy. Can you tell? Skin routine. You know, there's so much skincare that I have to test and play with that I can't say I have any real routine. Some things that I use very regularly is like the Current Body LED mask. I use that very regularly. I try to. That and the Neck and Deck mask. But no, I don't really follow any routines. I mean, I do, you know, the basics. I wash my face, I remove my makeup at night, those sorts of things. And then I put on a lotion, a serum, a moisturizer, and then an SPF during the day. Sometimes I put on an oil. Sometimes I'll put on, you know, if I'm testing something, I'll put on whatever it is that I'm testing. It's been a lot of serums. So I've been testing a lot of serums, and that usually just kind of falls into my routine. But yeah, I mean, nothing too crazy. I don't have like one of those crazy like 11 or 12 step skincare routines. I don't have the time or the patience for it. You know, I have it limited basically to, what is that? Cleansing, lotion, serum, moisturizer. So 4 at night. Sometimes I put on a mask, or 5 during the day. And then for my exercise routine, I go 3 or 4 times a week. 4 is optimal for me. I was going like 4 to 5 times a week and like doing a long walk after I did weight training. But right now I'm just focusing on weight training. I really just don't have time to get my steps in, which is kind of a shame. I try and just walk around the house a little bit more or whatever, but I was walking like close to 4 miles every day, like just short of an hour every single day outside. It was great, you know, get some fresh air or whatever, but it's just really time consuming, and the fall has been really busy for me. Mishmas is really busy. So anyway, my exercise routine has been 3 to 4, ideally 4 days of weight training. So one day I do back, the next time I train, I do chest and shoulders. And then I do legs, and then I do a day of arms, which is just, you know, biceps and triceps, and I try and do some forearm stuff like hangs and stuff. But that's it, pretty simple. I work out with my trainer. If he's not around, I will work out on my own. I like going to the gym. I like weight training. I'm that person that can hang out at the gym for like hours. I don't care. I'll be like, oh, what's that machine? Let me try that. Yeah, I just think it's fun. So that's my exercise routine. And I think and I try and do Pilates once a week. That I've cut back on because of Mishmas and the holidays and everything. So I'm supposed to start up Pilates again in January when things calm down. I also want to schedule in my walks again come January because, yeah, I'll have more time then, I think, hopefully. Hopefully I'll have more time then. What do you like most about yourself? Wow. I don't know what to call this, but I like how I treat my friends. My friends, and I've mentioned this before, my friends are like my family. In fact, they're closer. I find them to be closer and more important and meaningful to me in my life than my actual family. My friend, you know, my chosen family, right? Isn't that what we call them? And I'm very, very proud of the friendships that I've made and I've kept over decades. And I never really thought anything of it, but the more people I meet and the more people I talk to, I'm realizing that it's very rare to keep friends for so long and to make friends as an adult as I've done. And I think it's because I really value relationships and I really value people. And I know it's so easy to see people's differences and walk away from that. But I love people that are very different from me. I find them very interesting. I love to hear people's opinions, whether they're the same as mine or, you know, different. I'm just endlessly interested in what people have to say and where they came from, what their experiences are, because it informs you on like where they are now and like how they've arrived things. And it's funny, it's like this cycle, because I feel like I can't take all the credit for, you know, being a good friend and being able to like nourish great friendships, because I've made friends along the way that have shown me what it means to be a really good friend. So it's been this like cycle, you know, I've learned from my friends. And that's another thing I guess I really like about myself, that I find there's so much to learn from other people and their experiences and their emotions and how they feel. And Yeah, I think that's what I think that's what I like most about myself is, you know, how I treat the relationships in my life. You know, same with my husband and my friends. I would say that's what I like most about myself. I don't know if that answers your question. I wish I had like one word for that, but, but I don't. Do you like gold or white gold jewelry and your favorite jewelry pieces? Well, I happen to like rose gold. Most of my jewelry is rose gold, except for this piece. This one is, not that one. This one is rhodium plated sterling silver, but it's got that antique look that I like. But I think, like all my rings are rose gold. I think my favorite jewelry piece is my engagement/wedding ring. This moonstone from Luna, this Lucifer Vero Nestus ring that, you know, Luna obviously designed. I love all of my Luna pieces. I'm wearing almost all of them. I can't wear more earrings. I only have one hole, but yeah, I'm pretty much wearing all of her pieces, maybe not a ring, but those are my favorite jewelry pieces. And in fact, I just put up a jewelry collection and organization video. It is day 2 of Mishmas. If you're interested, it's there, but you can see my collection. And yeah, I pretty much talk about my favorites and stuff. Do you still knit? And what's the last thing you knitted? Oh my God, I don't still knit. I was very burnt out on knitting when I left the knitting world. So I was doing YouTube part-time, or just YouTube on the side. And I was the design director for a yarn company, and I was doing a lot of knitting, a lot of designing. And that company was bought, and I didn't want to work for the new owners anymore. So I gave it about a month, and I thought, you know what? I'm just going to try doing YouTube full-time. Doing YouTube full-time was a choice, but I was kind of forced into it. It wasn't it wasn't planned. That's actually a better way of putting it. I did not plan on doing YouTube full-time when I started doing YouTube full-time, but I made the choice to do it when I decided I didn't want to work for the owners of that yarn company. So that was the last time I knit. It was in April. When did I leave that job? I think it was like June of 19. Has it been that long? I almost said 21, but that was after COVID. No, this was before COVID. I think it was 2019. I can't even remember. Holy smokes. But it's been that long. It's been that long. So over 5 years, I have not knit anything. I'm fairly certain the last thing that I knit was some sort of swatch. You know, I would knit up swatches to create the designs. And then a lot of the designs we had sampled knitters knitting up. It was just faster that way. So yeah. The last full thing I knit was probably a sweater of some sort, some plain stockinette sweater. I do miss it. I do miss it. I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, if YouTube ever kind of like slowed down, or if I like retired or whatever, I would probably take up knitting. In fact, what I miss more than knitting is spinning. So I used to have a spinning wheel, like, what was it, Snow White or Cinderella? Snow White, a spinning wheel, and I would make yarn from wool. That I love because that was very meditative, very, very meditative, because you just like treadle with your feet. You just treadle and then you just like draw the wool out. Oh my God, it's like better than yoga. Anyway, I miss that, and I would probably go back to that before I go back to knitting. But yeah, I could see myself going back to knitting, but I'm not knitting currently. I'm curious, do the ducks still swim in your pool, or did that flow work? Okay, so there's no more ducks in the pool, but I think coincidentally it's because it got very, very cold here, and I think the ducks just flew further south. I don't think our gator floaty actually works. We'll have to test it again come spring, because they'll be back. But right now, so our gator floaty, I just kept him in the pool because I thought he was cute, but he kept like capsizing like over the side of our pool. So now we have him kind of tucked under one of our loungers just outside. So he's just kind of hanging out. But yeah, if I see ducks again, I'm going to put him back in the pool and see. But I don't think he helped at all. Sad. Someone asked top 3 winter favorites. I'm not sure favorites of what though. I'm not sure. I'm sorry. Favorites, makeup favorites or skincare, clothing? I am not sure. I apologize. Thomas Anderson 168 I'm sorry. Ding me back here again if you're watching this. Ask me again, specifically, what top 3 are you talking about? Next question. What is your sleep schedule? What is your fave healthy recipe? How did you first learn to knit? What's the best way to learn for beginners? Thank you. Wow. Okay. What is your sleep schedule? I basically sleep 9 to 5. During Mishmas, I wake up at 4 so that I can get more work in because I'm much better in the morning. I know some people don't consider 4 to be the morning, but the night before, 4 is the morning to me. I'm much better in the morning than I am after dinner. So it's like, I can't stay up any later. I'm worthless. So I just get up earlier. But generally, I go to sleep around 9 and I wake up at 5. I'm in bed probably around 8 o'clock, 8:30, but I read. We probably watch a little bit of TV, whatever. And then I am like asleep by 9, like passed out by 9. And then I wake up generally at like 5 o'clock. My fave healthy recipe, I think, is my pumpkin stew, which I've talked about. The recipe is on my blog, which is themichelewang.com. It's under healthy recipes. Yeah, that one is my favorite. It's so good. It's so good because it pretty much is like, it's very close to the protocol that my trainer has me on. So I love it. How did you first learn to knit? I got a DVD. I got a DVD off of Amazon. I was just bored one day and I was like, you know, I'm going to learn to knit. Actually, my friend Matthew suggested it out of the blue. I think he was being funny. Little did he know it was going to turn into a whole thing. But yeah, I just got a DVD and learned to knit. I went down to my local yarn store. I got huge needles, really fat, chunky yarn, and the DVD. And that's how I learned. The best way to learn for beginners, I mean, if you're very self-motivated, I think a DVD is fine. But if you need a lot of instruction, if you need a lot of guidance, you think, like maybe your spatial understanding isn't that great, which is neither here nor there. It's just one of those things. Because it's very 3D. And when you're like watching someone do it, it may not make that much sense. So if that is a challenge for you, then I would just go see someone because it's just about the movement. And then once you get it down, it's like muscle memory. It's easy. Easy peasy. Okay, the last question on YouTube is, what is something people assume about your life / personality that they often get wrong? And what is something people don't assume that is actually true about yourself? Wow, that is very deep. Okay. What is something people assume about your life / personality? I am and I'm only guessing that people assume this, but when I meet people, for the first time or, I'm getting to know someone, they have commented on this, but I am much more of, and I'm sorry, I don't know if this is like an outdated word, it probably is, but I'm much more of like a tomboy in real life than people think I am. I think because I like fashion, that people think I'm kind of like a girly girl, and I'm not at all. I don't know. I don't know how I come across, but yeah, I'm just not a girly girl at all. And I love makeup or whatever, but I don't take like more than 15 minutes to get ready. Like I just don't have those like girly girl kind of qualities. Yeah, so I think that's definitely something people assume about me that I'm not. I'm not at all. And then what is something people don't assume that is actually true about yourself? I mean, I guess that answer could go for both. Let me see if I can expound on that. People don't assume that is actually true about yourself. I don't think people would assume that I'm kind of an adrenaline junkie. Kind of. I was really into skydiving with my mother-in-law. I enjoyed it. I really liked that adrenaline rush, and I liked the free fall part of it much better than when the parachute opened, because I liked that feeling, that really kind of like out of control feeling. I really liked that. I'm also planning on taking that Porsche driving school class because I want to learn how to like drive a race car. So I'm going to be doing that probably early next year. I'm not sure. I have to plan out some trips next year. So I'm kind of an adrenaline junkie, and because I'm pretty calm, I don't think anyone would ever assume that about me. Okay, that was everything on the YouTube community tab. Let me go over to Instagram. I have to pull up my archive, because I posted this story asking you for questions a while ago because I knew it was going to get crazy, with the holidays. So I posted this like before Thanksgiving, but I just wanted to make sure that I got questions. Oh wow, back-to-back questions about my husband and his work. So my husband's always worked in finance, but just recently he left his job. Actually, not even that recently anymore. It was right after we came back from the cruise. He left his job. He changed fields. I mean, it was always in finance, but he changed fields when he came to Vegas. And he was very good at what he did. He enjoyed it to a certain point, but I told him, I'm like, I just don't think it fits your personality. Anyway, he's kind of like rediscovering himself. We're 50, we're 51, and like, you really start to look at things very differently at this middle age. Like, I can see why there's this midlife crisis thing. It doesn't need to be a crisis though. But just sort of like a reevaluation of things, a reprioritizing of things. And so, yeah, he's just, he's been home. He hasn't been working since we got back from the cruise. So it's been half a year, and he's just kind of like dabbling in a few things and talking to a lot of people and just trying to figure stuff out. And I really encourage it. I'm like, there's absolutely no point, of course, as long as you can do it financially, but there's no point in getting up and going to a job that you feel lukewarm to dislike. There's just no point. Absolutely no point. It's too, and it's one of those things. I'm like, we're getting too old for that. When you're younger, you're still discovering what you like and you don't like. And it's like, okay, stick with a job for a while. You don't know what's going to happen. But at this age, at a ripe old age of 51, you kind of know, whether or not something's going to work for you. And I'm like, there's no reason. We're not to say that there's never a point where you're not learning and not discovering things about yourself, but like, you do it in a much faster way. You're like, no, this isn't for me. Like, you just know yourself better. So anyway, that's what he's doing. He's kind of like discovering his next thing, and I'm excited for him. I'm really, really excited for him. And I know people aren't always in the financial position to do it, but if there's any sort of inkling, like, oh my God, I've been doing this job for 20 years. Like, is there anything else out there? Yeah, like, try it out, try different things. So, wow, that was sort of a segue off of the answer to my husband. Has he been in your videos before? No, he's a very private person. He does not want to be in my videos. He would be, but I'm like, if you don't want to be, I'm not going to put you in my videos. So he's like, yeah, I just would rather not. So yeah, he's just like not, if you guys knew him, you would understand that. Like, it's just not his thing. I loved the Prada show series. Would you do that again? If so, which brand? Yeah, I would do that again. I don't know if I'll ever be able to do that again, because I went with my friend Julie, who so kindly invited me along like that. I will never, ever, I don't think I'll ever have an experience as amazing as that one. That was unbelievable. But if so, which brand? If it wasn't Prada, I would do it with Prada again. But if I were to choose a different brand, I think Loewe, at least for now, as long as JW Anderson is there doing his thing. I think that would be the other brand. But yeah, I would absolutely do that again. That was incredible. How do you imagine yourself to be in 10 years from now? I'll be 61. Hopefully retired. No. Will I still be doing YouTube? I have no idea. I am not a planner or a goal setter, all that kind of stuff. Like, I just don't think that way. I'm very like right here, right now, and which I think is good for some things. It is terrible for other things. It's very frustrating to my husband. Like, for instance, when we're trying to plan a trip, I'm like, as long as I have the plane ticket and the hotel, I'm good. And he's like, do you want to do anything while we're there? And I'm like, I don't know. We can just, I don't know what I'll be in the mood for. Like, that's my line. Oh, Butters. I know, it's very frustrating. I'm sorry. Can you guys see her? She just popped up. Hi, baby. Oh, she's grumpy. So it's hard to imagine myself in like a month. But 10 years from now, I don't know, 61? I mean, I'll be more wrinkly. Maybe I'll still be on YouTube or whatever the social media platform is at that point. Is social media even going to be a thing then? I don't know. Probably here, probably talking to you guys. 10 years is actually going to move pretty quickly. I mean, my mom is still probably going to be alive. Yeah, I don't know if much is going to change in 10 years. Who knows? Oh my God, these questions, you guys, very deep. Here's one. I'm newer to your channel, but love it. Oh, thank you. Did you used to work full time? What did you do? Yes, I used to work full time. I was a design director, hand knitting, yarn company. Before that, I worked in IT. I was help desk. I was a network administrator. I did technical training and writing, tech writing and stuff. Before that, I was a receptionist. Before that, I worked at Sasfifth Avenue as like an assistant buyer. I feel like I've had a lot of lives, and now I do this. Do you think you'll ever move back to New York City or anywhere else? I think I will, probably not full time, but maybe get a second residence in New York City. I think that's where eventually I want to retire because you don't have to drive. And I'm realizing living here in Vegas, where there's a lot of retirees who are still driving, that it's just a bad idea. I just want to move back to New York where literally anything can be delivered, or I can just walk somewhere. I can just go down to the bodega at the corner. Like that to me is like perfect for retirement. Just if I need a walker, like whatever it is, slip my doorman a 20, maybe he can run and get it. Like that to me is like a good retirement. I don't want to be driving around. I don't want to be stuck in a house. Like that for me, as an older person, I just feel like that's so unhealthy. So yeah, I think New York City is going to be in my future. I mean, not for like decades, but yeah. Favorite designer brand, you can only choose one. I guess it would be Prada, because they have everything. You know, I like their clothing, I like their bags, I like their shoes. There aren't a lot of brands where I like everything. I mean, you know, maybe Chanel, maybe Fendi, even Loewe. I love their stuff, but sometimes like their shoes, I can't really get down with them most of the time. Who else? Bottega, again with the shoes, Yeah, I think it's either Prada or Chanel. No, I'd say Prada. Yeah, favorite designer brand, Prada for sure. What's your go-to gift for men in your family? I do like gloves, scarves, socks. I'm sorry, nothing that creative. I mean, all the men in my life, like none of them, including my husband, my father, who's no longer with us, but my dad before he passed, my father-in-law, so my husband's stepfather, they're all like simple guys, like nothing, they don't have any like huge like hobbies or anything that take a lot of things, just like really simple guys. So, and they never buy anything for themselves. So I feel like going the practical route, like a scarf or socks or something, is kind of a good move. I think I'm moving towards like more culinary stuff. So my father-in-law and my husband, they both like to cook. So yeah, maybe, I don't know, I'm thinking like a box of spices, you know what I mean? Like things like accoutrements for the kitchen. I'm thinking that maybe for the men in my life. What is your favorite website store for buying homeware items? Pretty bad with homeware items. Sorry, I'm looking around because I'm like, where do I buy homeware items? I mean, so much of my decor is from Amazon. I know, not great. And my furniture, like 90% of my furniture at this point is from Restoration Hardware. My battery's running out. Restoration Hardware. I have my Chanel pillows, but where do I look for homeware? I'm gonna have to think on that. I apologize. But yeah, I've never had a home until this one. I've never really had a home where I've had to like decorate. So it's kind of new for me. I do love diptyque stuff. their vases, their trays, all of that stuff is really, really beautiful. Sorry, that was a horrible, barely there answer. Where do you get inspiration for your YouTube content and for your fashion selection? Where do I get inspiration for my YouTube content? Well, the past few years I've been doing a lot of vlogging, so it's just kind of my life and what I like to watch on YouTube. So I'll use other YouTubers and their channels for inspiration. Oh, okay. I just put a new battery in, so I don't know if the angle changed. But I was answering the inspiration for my YouTube content and then my fashion selection. So, I mean, I get what I like. I don't worry too much about, I don't know. I mean, I like trends, or trends will bring certain things to my attention, bring them to the forefront. Sometimes I like them, sometimes I don't. I try not to be too trendy. I try to really be true to what I personally like. And I really try and steer clear of the fashion rules that I think make women really, really insecure about their bodies. You know, how it's just, we're only allowed to wear things that make us look thinner and taller with a small waist and big boobs or whatever. I try not to think about all that kind of stuff. I try and really focus in on what I like to wear, what makes me feel confident and comfortable. Probably comfortable more than anything. Comfortable more than anything. But, I was born in 73, so I feel like my fashion was really molded by the 80s and the 90s. I grew up in the 80s where being different was really important. In the 90s too. I feel like social media has really changed a lot of that, but you wanted to be different. You wanted to get the thing that no one else had, and now it's quite literally the opposite. You want to get what everyone else is wearing. Like, you see it on social media, and if it's a bestseller, that's what you want. Or if it's sold out, that's the one that you want. And I don't really have that. I really like to try and get things that are a little bit different, or at least put them together in a different way. And I think that's what I love about fashion so much, is the styling aspect of it, because we could all get the same sweater, right? We could all get the same sweater, but wear them differently. And I think that's what's so fun. And it looks completely different on different people. And yeah, I just think it's a lot of fun. But I would say the early 90s is really what informed my personal style. Like, I still love that era in fashion. Best way to lose weight. Wow. Best way to lose weight is to not eat, but I don't think that's healthy. And I don't think you should be focused on losing weight. I think you should be focused on losing fat, body fat, visceral body fat especially. And I just did a video where I talk about my DEXA scan. So I got a scan to measure my total body fat and my visceral fat or whatever, because that's a number I want to focus on, not the scale. The scale is important, right? You don't want to be morbidly obese, where you're more at risk for type 2 diabetes and other metabolic diseases. But it's not, for most people, it's just not that important, the 20 pounds or whatever. And if you just don't eat to lose the weight, which is probably the fastest way to do it, you're losing muscle mass and water, which is what you don't want to lose. So I think the best way to lose fat is to weight train and to get your diet in line with your weight training. So that's, unfortunately, the long, hard road to losing weight properly. Oh, here's a question. Wow, these two, it's so funny. Like, questions come in in clumps that are similar. So one person asked, you once asked if there was interest in doing a financial themed episode. Yes, please. And then the next question is finance advice for the girls starting out in their 30s. So, I actually talked about doing this finance-themed episode. I was just sort of thinking off the top of my head, or speaking off the top of my head. But I really don't have much to say other than what everyone has always said, save. Save your money, things like that. So I'm not sure that I have enough sound information to create a financial-themed episode. And my personal path, it's a lot of people's story. I started with nothing. I graduated college with nothing. Slowly saved, slowly spent the saving, went back and forth. Did pretty well at some jobs, was able to save a little bit, had 401ks, things like that. But it's really my job here at YouTube where I was able to make good money, where I'm able to, save a decent amount of money, buy a home. We bought a condo while we lived in New York, but it was small. It was a small 2-bedroom. We were out in Queens. It was lovely. I loved that apartment. But we're able to buy a home here. So I don't think I have enough to contribute to the discussion of personal finances on top of what you see out there. If there's any specific questions you guys have, I'd be happy to answer them, but I don't know. I just don't, maybe I'm not confident in that area because I'm not like great with money. I don't know if that's an assumption people would have that I'm good with money. I am not. I'm not good with money. Maybe you could say I'm disciplined with money. It's like I make sure I have enough to pay my bills, of which there are a lot when you own a home, pay my bills, and then we have an amount that we want to save, and then everything else is kind of like a free-for-all. I'm not good at budgeting. When I was younger and had no savings, I literally would just go to the ATM until it said insufficient funds. So I'm not great. I'm not great at budgeting and personal finance. So I don't know. I just, again, I probably should have thought more about it before just kind of saying it. But yeah, I don't know that I have anything to contribute to that conversation. Financial advice for the girls starting out in their 30s is to absolutely save your money. And, I say this not because it's just, something you should do and buy a home and blah, blah, blah. Buy or don't buy a home, I think, sure, I think it's a good investment, but I do think it is a huge responsibility. And if you're not up for it, don't buy a home. And I know that's like the American dream, but if you want to just rent for the rest of your life, and in fact, one of the most successful real estate brokers in New York, I worked for her in college for a hot second, just answering phones and doing stuff. And she was the broker that sold really high-end real estate in Greenwich Village. And this was in the early 90s. And she rented. She rented because she was like, I don't want to deal with it. And I was like, wise, so wise. Anyway, so when I say save your money, I mean to save your money because it gives you freedom and it also gives you power. And what you don't ever want is to give your power away because you don't have money. And anytime I see, now look, I don't want to put out there any sort of absolutes here. If you fall in love with someone, you guys have a great relationship, and he happens to be a billionaire, great, that's awesome. But it pains me when I hear women looking for a rich husband. I'm like, you can make your own money. You don't have to give that up to someone because you're going to be giving up a lot of other things. A lot of other things that are a lot more important and a lot harder to get back than money. So just save enough that you could take care of yourself, that you're good with where you are, that you are comfortable on your own, and don't ever give up that power. Another piece of advice in relation to that is learn about personal finance. I mean, don't follow me. I mean, I know a little bit, but learn about personal finance. It's very, very important. Learn about your taxes, how, what goes into taxes, what you can deduct, things like that. Learn about some simple investments, talk to your broker, read a book, watch some YouTube videos, but don't shy away from all of that language. I know it's very, very intimidating, but don't shy away from it. You're not stupid. You can learn, and it will empower you. It will empower you. And I don't like when I feel like people don't have control over their financial situation. And many times it's because they haven't made the effort to actually just learn about it, to learn about things, to learn about what exactly an APR means when you take out a loan, a car loan, a mortgage, whatever that is. It means very different things in very different industries. So just educate yourself in terms of all of these little financial terms, what they mean, and the impact that they have on your life. because I think a lot of people take out loans because it sounds good today, but the impact that it has long-term, it can be very, very damaging, can just eat away at you. So yeah, just educate yourself. Educate yourself. How do you clean Luna's jewelry? So when I go see Luna in Milan, she's always like, give me your stuff, it's so dirty. So I'm not great at that, but I did get one of those sonic cleaners from Amazon and some like cleaning solution. If I remember, I'll link it down below. But sonic jewelry cleaner on Amazon, if you do a search, it'll pop up. Because all of this jewelry is fine jewelry, it's okay. It's more the costume jewelry. I think you have to be careful in terms of like cleaning it with sonic waves because it can like kind of crumble things basically. So that's what I use, is just a sonic cleaner, and it works really well. I just stick it in there like 3 minutes or whatever. And when I go to Luna's, her studio in Milan, she has of course like an industrial sonic cleaner, and she'll put all my pieces in there and just keep it on like, the entire time I'm there. So she has it running for like a long time. So I know in my little home sonic cleaner, my jewelry is fine, and like I said, I'll set it for like 3 minutes or whatever. And I need to do it more often. It's just that I wear her stuff all the time, and I just put it on when I'm getting dressed. I forget to clean it, but that's what I use. Any updates with Function Health? I'm getting targeted ads. So Function Health is something I signed up for. I got a gazillion vials of blood drawn, and I learned a few things. I have low vitamin, was it B12? Anyway, I'm taking a vitamin B complex vitamin now every single day. It wasn't dangerously low. It was like, just below average. And then there was only one other thing that was concerning. So concerning that I forgot. Oh, my iron levels were high. Isn't that weird? I think on my dad's side of the family, there's possibly like anemia. So I was prepared to see it low. But yeah, my iron levels are high. Isn't that interesting? But those were the only two things, surprise, surprise, that were out of whack. One of my HDLs, because they test for like a few of them, one of them was like borderline high. At least it wasn't an LDL, but it was HDL. And it was right at the top of the healthy range. So I guess I should keep an eye on that. But that's it. That's it. That's all there is to report on Function Health, which I'm happy about. Favorite perfume? I have so many. Okay, Desert Island perfume. What would that be? So funny, Jo Malone Grapefruit is the one perfume that I've worn the longest. It's the only perfume I wore for years, probably a decade. And it's actually a scent that many of my friends associate with me, which is nice. But I don't think that's it anymore. My tastes have definitely changed. I think for me, it could be the Diptyque Orilla. And I know I've turned some of you onto that. I know many of you have reached out to me and said that you got it and that you love it too. That one I love. Kirkchen's Aqua Universalis. I'd say it's a tie between, sorry, non-answer, a tie between Diptyque's Orilla and Kirkchen's Aqua Universalis. Okay, oh my gosh, I feel like I've been talking forever. Let's see. There's so many more. Oh, how's the prep going for hosting such a big Thanksgiving? Love your content. Thank you. Thanksgiving actually went really, really well. I'll throw up some shots here just of, scenes of the day. But I was expecting about 30 people, I think I told you, and 3 people weren't able to make it. So I have an elderly aunt. She is like 93, 94 years old, and she actually was a little bit too weak. So she flew all the way out here, and then that night of Thanksgiving, she was actually a little bit too weak to come. And I mean, I was glad that she made that call and she stayed and she rested. I would not want her to stress herself out just to come to Thanksgiving. But it was, we missed her. We were able to see her the next day, so all was fine. So she didn't come, and then I have an aunt and uncle who didn't make it because my uncle hurt his foot, so he couldn't stand, he couldn't walk or whatever. So 3 people didn't make it. So we had about 27 people here, and it was great. I mean, ordering the dinner in was, I think, a very good call. So we ordered turkey dinners from Yardbird. We got 3 large turkey dinners, and we maybe finished 1. And we brought the rest actually over to my uncle's house the next night. So we had like another celebration, a much more casual celebration on Friday of that weekend. But we had, a bunch of kids here, and of course, I didn't have anything in the house. I didn't even think about it. It's, I don't have kids, and it was hard for me to even plan for that. But some of the parents of the younger kids like brought stuff. There was like a white elephant going on, and someone brought like Life, the board game Life, and they were, the kids were playing that at the kitchen table. So it was really fun. It was just fun to have a lot of family over and like multi-generational, and it was warm. Like, it's just my husband and I and Butters in this house. And so I really treasure silence, and I do like spending time alone, but it's nice, especially for the holidays. It was really, really nice having everyone. So anyway, it was a success. It was low stress. I think the food was great. We just had to heat it up in the oven, so it was easy. And my cousin who came to stay, so my cousin, her husband, and their 3 girls actually stayed at my house with me. And I loved that. I loved it. It was nice. It was really, really nice just having like other bodies in the house, and just, things were bustling. Like it was just really, really nice. And my cousin and I were talking how we just need to get together more, and she's very close in age to me. She's 2 years younger than I am. And I'm actually the same age as her older brother, my other cousin. I feel like we've grown closer, me and this cousin, we've grown closer as we've gotten older. So it was really lovely. It was lovely. So thank you for asking. What are some gifts you're looking to treat yourself and loved ones with? Okay, look, I treat myself with gifts all year long. So nothing specific for me for Christmas. I'm still trying to think of something for my husband. We buy ourselves, we buy each other, if there's something he really wants, I'm like, just get it. But I feel like I should get him something, so I'm gonna think on that. I just don't know what. He's so wants for nothing. I got him like last Cyber Monday, not even this past one, but the one before, like the one in July, they had some sweaters because it was off season. They had some sweaters like marked down really low on Amazon. They were like Amazon essential sweaters. They were like maybe $10. I was like, let me get it. He can wear it around the house or whatever. So I got him one. He loves it. He is now obsessed with Amazon essentials. I'm like, are you sure? I'm like, I don't care. And he's like, yeah. So he got some Henleys. He got some like waffle tees. He got some pullover, just like wool sweaters. Loves them. Absolutely loves them. So I don't know. And my mom's another one. She's like, I don't need anything. So we're probably just gonna get together. Blah, blah, blah. Boring. But yeah, we're not big like gift givers. Cause again, like we just buy stuff that we want all year round. Not great. I'd love to hear more about food prepping to stay on target with your health goals. So my husband does all the cooking, and we will just like basically take out a pack of protein, cook it all. And by pack, I mean like a Costco pack, which is a lot. So it'll be like 3 things of chicken breast or 2 1.5 pound packages of ground turkey. We'll make all of that up, and we stick it in the fridge, and I measure it out for my meals and stuff. That's basically what I have. And then I have like broccoli with that, or kale, or spinach. I'm trying to think of the greens that I buy. I basically like go through rotation. I like broccoli because it doesn't go bad as quickly as kale. Kale goes bad, like it starts to yellow pretty quickly. Spinach is kind of in between, but broccoli I love because I feel like, I can get a really big bag and just like pull a few stalks out at a time, and it stays good. So anyway, that's as much food prepping as I do, but it's the protein that's really important to have around. So I make sure that we have, protein in the freezer, that we're defrosting it, because that's usually like the hiccup, it's the defrosting of the protein. And then my husband will make it up. Would you consider doing a series of using older makeup you don't reach for or forgot about? A series? I don't know if I could do a whole series on that. I could probably do one, because if it's older makeup, I probably have decluttered it. But if it's just makeup that's been around for a while, I did do an iconic makeup video where I just talk about iconic makeup, but I could put it on. I could put it on for you. Do you use Botox? I don't. Can't you tell? Look at my forehead. I don't use Botox. I don't use Botox or fillers. It's just, I don't know. I don't want needles in my face. And I don't know. It's not that important to me. I'm a very, let's age gracefully. I try and eat well. I try and drink a lot of water. I use my LED mask. I moisturize. I wear SPF or whatever. Beyond that, you know, it's life. So no, I don't use Botox. No judgment to anyone who does. Like, we have so much social pressure to look younger than we actually are. It's sickening. It's sickening how much pressure, especially women, have. So absolutely no judgment here, but I don't feel like it. Okay, next trip. So my next trip, the next trip that's actually on the books and booked is a trip to Savannah, Georgia, where I'm gonna have like a girls' weekend. So this is the girl group that Laura is part of, and we try and get together once a year. And all 5 of us are gonna be there. Sometime in the past, sometimes one person can't come, but everyone's children is like, you know, they're getting older, they're getting a little bit more self-sufficient, so it's getting not easier, it's hard with 5 adults, but a little easier logistically to get together, the 5 of us. So that's my next trip on the books, but I do wanna plan, before that, I wanna plan a trip to LA to go to that Porsche driving school. And then we have to actually plan it out, but I believe we are going to Sicily and Rome next year because Luna of Lucifer Jewelry, she has invited my husband and I out to her home in Sicily, which I'm so excited about. I really want to spend some time in Sicily. It's gorgeous, gorgeous. And since we probably have to fly in and out of Rome, we want to spend some time in Rome because the last time we were in Rome, it was for the cruise and we spent like literally, I don't know, like 12 hours there. So we want to spend, you know, like a good 3 or 4 days just to do some sightseeing, eat some food, gelato. And then on the way back, we're probably going to spend some time in New York and then we'll come back here. And I'm sure I'll be going back to New York a couple of times at least over the next year. So yeah, I'm not sure what the next trip is, but Savannah is the only one that's been like booked. Would you ever leave and not make videos anymore? Yeah, I mean, I guess that's a possibility because I don't know. Like I said, I'm a terrible planner, but if YouTube, let's say YouTube went away, I'd probably stop. Maybe I'd move over to Instagram and TikTok more. I'm on Instagram, but, and TikTok, but more, you know, my focus would be there. But I mean, for the time being, at least I would say for the next year, I'm still really enjoying YouTube. I'm still really enjoying creating this community. I'm still enjoying making videos and talking about beauty and fashion and life and everything. So I don't see it happening anytime soon, but yeah, I mean, I would imagine at some point I would probably stop making videos. Oh my gosh, there's so many, wow. I got a top 10 bags. I think that's a little bit too long for this video. Maybe I'll make that a video. Its own video, so stay tuned for that. What is your go-to everyday bag? Right now, I'm sorry, I'm staring over there. I've got an Oleata bag over there, the mini anchor bag. I love that bag. I do have my Chanel. I have a Chanel, that duffel bag from their Cocoa Beach collection. I think that was the collection. And then I have my Loewe small puzzle bag. I was like, mashing Loewe and puzzle together. Loewe small puzzle bag, the one that I got in London at Brown's in 2023. Those right now are my everyday, like my go-to everyday bags. Yeah, for sure. I love that puzzle bag. It's so good. It's such a good size. It's like perfect. Oh my God, which cigarettes do you smoke back in the day? I smoked Marlboro Reds. I miss them. Before that, I smoked Camel Lights for a little while. I smoked Marlboro Light Hundreds for a little while. I smoked Sobrani Black Russians for a little while. Those gave me bronchitis. I almost said tuberculosis. Incorrect. It gave me bronchitis because Sobrani Black Russians, those are the cigarettes that have the gold filter and the black barrel. They're like mini cigars, and I smoked those, and it was like, no way, no way. But yeah, Marlboro Reds. I still miss it. Do you have a monthly/yearly budget for your luxury spending? I don't. I feel like I have a pretty good innate sense of like what's too much, when to stop. Yeah, so Like I said, I take care of all of my bills and what I need to do with my money first, and then whatever's left over is left over. And I spend that. I probably should save a little bit more. We'll see. We'll see if anything changes. Favorite restaurant in Vegas, on strip and off strip. Well, one of my favorite off strip is Al Solito Posto. That is at Tivoli Village up in Summerlin. That is probably my favorite Italian off strip. Love, love, love that restaurant. I love the way it looks. I love the menu. I love the food. It's just great. I love the ambiance. It's awesome. I also, speaking of Tivoli Village up there, Echo and Rig is great, and they actually opened one up in Henderson, which is awesome. It's a steakhouse, and they have like a butcher downstairs. That also, it has like the right vibe. It's very, very good. On strip, what do I like on strip? There's so many. I really like the steakhouses. I was just gonna start rattling them off. Peter Luger, Smith & Wollensky, Carver Steak at Resorts. I really like Prime at Bellagio. I really like. And then I like Catch at Aria for like sushi. What else? The Wynn has some good restaurants. There's a Mexican restaurant at the Wynn that I really like. Casa Playa. That's the name of it. That is excellent Mexican food. Really enjoy it. That also has like the right vibe. It's beautiful. It's decorated, but it's not too much. Yeah, those off the top of my head, I really, really enjoy. My goodness. Are the Alaya Ballet flats comfortable? Very. I brought them on my cruise and I wore them for the excursions, like a lot of walking. They're great. I love them. Most exclusive clothes you own? I don't think I own any exclusive clothes. I have a really fun Prada raincoat from like, I don't know, more than 20 years ago. That one's really cool. I have a Chanel tweed like jacket with a mink trim. Yeah, that I actually had to get like resized. Anyway, maybe those are the most exclusive, but I wouldn't say my collection is very exclusive. Can you show your 3 top of every category again? Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that video later in Mishmas. What do you consider your current hobbies? You know, I used to have a lot of hobbies, and I have to say doing YouTube or being a content creator / influencer, it is very time consuming, and I just don't really have any hobbies at the moment. I mean, at this point, like if I have any downtime, I need to, like everyone else, do stuff around the house or whatever. But I'm usually so tired that I just end up sitting on the couch and I just don't want to do anything. But maybe when I take this lesson at the Porsche driving school, maybe that'll be my new hobby. I don't, how often can you do that? Like race a car? We have some tracks here in Vegas, and that sounds like an expensive hobby. So I don't know if that's in my cards, but yeah, I don't really have any hobbies. Isn't that sad? Yeah, like my hobby used to be knitting, and then it was my job, and then I kind of got burnt out. Yeah, and I used to love to bake. I used to be a really big baker. That was kind of my hobby. Any of my downtime, I'd like bake a cake of some sort. Now that I'm trying to control my food intake and my diet, that's not great. So yeah, I don't know. I guess I have to find a new one. I mean, the one thing that I spend the most time on that isn't work would be weight training. I don't know if I'd consider that my hobby though. Do you have an assistant? No, it used to be Lara, but she left. So no, I don't have an assistant. It's just me. What do you do with all that PR stuff? There's no way you could use it all. No, there's absolutely no way. I donate a lot. Project Beauty Share. I give some to my cleaning crew. I give some to my nail tech. I give a lot to family. As you saw over Thanksgiving, I have a lot of family, a lot of women who really, really love makeup and skincare. I give it to family. I am going to be doing, GIVEAWAY S's. Did I spell that right? If you saw day 3's video, take a look there. So that's what I do. But yeah, I get a lot, which I'm so grateful for. But yeah, there's absolutely no way that I could use it all. How are you managing with having all the family over for Christmas season? Well, they're gone now, thankfully. No, they're gone now, sadly. And I actually have my friend Matthew coming soon. He is staying for a few days. And then after that, I'm pretty much on my own. I can just focus on Mishmas, really just, film and edit and, do it without like having to do too much pre-filming, because I had to do a lot of pre-filming for like the first few days or whatever because of Thanksgiving. But yeah, it's just, it's just juggling. Do you still have any big hopes and dreams for your channel in the next few years? Of course, I would love to reach 1 million subscribers. That's so like high in the sky, but that's always, I think, every YouTuber's dream is to reach some sort of subscriber goal. 1 million would be amazing, but I also know it's just numbers. Like my goal here and my priority here is just to create a really kind of like tight-knit, beautiful community where we're comfortable talking to each other about things, and we support each other and we lift each other up. And that's really my priority. But hey, it would be great to see like 1 million subscribers. I think that would be really, really cool. Thoughts on smoking? I mean, okay, smoking cigarettes, I miss it. Don't do it. Don't start, because you're just gonna miss it every day like I have. I've quit for now 20 years or more than 20 years, and I would still run out and get a pack of cigarettes if I could, but I can't. Favorite places you've traveled? I think the standout one is Copenhagen and Tokyo. Those two cities are so special. I mean, Italy, Paris, those places are just, they're kind of what you expect. Like Italy is just gorgeous. Like we've seen a ton of movies based in Italy, and the food is incredible, right? The people are warm. Paris is exactly what you think. Everything is very like manicured. The people, you know, maybe not quite as friendly as Italy, but very nice. The food is incredible, you know, the Eiffel Tower, all that stuff. But Copenhagen and Tokyo were so special and unique, very, very unique, I thought. And really just charming, very, very charming. Tokyo is humongous. So to say that, for me to say that about a city that's that big, to use the word charming, I think really says something. It's really a special place. So I'd say those two. I love your glasses and PJs from your post September. Oh, may I know the brand? Well, the glasses are definitely Tom Ford, and the PJs, I'll probably link them in the description box. But if they were blue, it was J. Crew. If they were purple, it was from Nordstrom. Michelle, if you can only keep one bag, then what would it be? Oh dear. I don't know, because I have a lot of bags that have sentimental value, and then I have the bags that I just know I would use, like the Loewe puzzle bag. My Chanel 22 hobo, I love that bag. That's too hard. If you can only keep one bag, then what would it be? That's too hard. All right, if I had to pick, let me just say the Loewe puzzle bag, because it's sitting right there and I do use it quite a bit. How are you feeling about your new body? I know you changed to be healthier, but look great. Oh, thank you. Well, I mean, it's the same old body. It is the same old body. And, you know, I try not to make it about aesthetics. I know I look different. I don't ever want to get to the point where if my body does start to change in a different way, as I get older, I don't want to not like that, so, or look down upon that. So I really try not to think about aesthetics. I also, you know, and this is the wisdom that comes as you get older, but it's like I hated the way I looked when I was, I don't know, 28, whatever, 30. And I look back on that and I'm like, I looked great, you know? So I try not to think about it in that way. But anyway, I'm gonna focus on the how am I feeling. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling really, really great. Weight training has really been a game changer. I used to do light weights, but I've never really done like weight training, you know, like serious. And my trainer is like, used to be a bodybuilder. So like weight training, I've never done that before. And it really has changed a lot of things, not just physically, but mentally too. And how I think about how women have been dealt a really, really bad hand by always being told like, don't get too bulky. You're gonna get too bulky. I don't want to look bulky. And it's like, first of all, to get bulky, the amount of weight and the discipline that it takes to get bulky, you won't get there. And now that I know how much work it takes, I see it completely differently. And I see now building muscle mass, how healthy it's made me, and how I wish women wouldn't worry so much about their aesthetics and wouldn't worry so much about getting bulky, and like just focus on what is healthy, what is going to allow them to age well and to age gracefully, and just not worry about it. I know it's so hard. The social pressures, I feel like I keep going back to this, and my soapbox has come out. But the social pressures that are put on us to, you know, be rail thin and not have one wrinkle on our face, it's just so, it's so painful. It's exhausting. It takes our attention away from the things that are important. And so I've learned a lot about myself, you know, going through weight training and realizing how important it is and how much better I feel and how much more powerful and confident I feel in my body. And it's not because I'm smaller than I was, like physically smaller measurement wise than I was, it's that I feel stronger. And that's what's given me the confidence, because I feel like in the past when I've lost weight, when I've starved myself, I didn't necessarily feel more confident in my clothing, even though I, you know, would be like at an ideal weight or an ideal size. I never felt confident. I just felt vulnerable. I felt raw. I felt like I still wasn't good enough. And now I feel like I'm in a completely different place because I'm approaching it from a completely different angle. Do you ever think about a career after YouTube? No, I think this is well covered territory at this point. I don't think much about anything in the future. Oh, can you link your pill case that you use? Yeah, I'll link it down below. I just have to, I'm gonna say it, so while I'm editing, I'm going to link the pill case down below. Oh my gosh, I really wanted to answer all the questions this time, but I've been talking forever. Do you communicate with your mom in Chinese or English? Both, mainly in English, and her mainly in Chinese. Do you think you could have done your transformation without a trainer? I don't think so. I mean, I think I could now, I could continue, but I think it was very important for me to get off on the right foot and to have someone who's done it at least show me. Now, did it need to be an in-person trainer? No. I think you can do like an online thing. I think you can go onto YouTube and there's like a ton of trainers talking about stuff. I think you just need one that is aligned with your goals, and I think you'll be set. For me personally, like I have gym equipment at home. For some reason, I have a mental block about working out at home. I needed to go out and work out, and so it just made sense for me to get an in-person trainer at the gym I was going to. Okay, the song, movie, book, or thing that always makes you feel good or has great memories. Oh, you know what song always makes me feel good and has great memories is A Little Respect by Erasure. I love that song. Movie, probably, no, that makes me feel good. I'll have to think about that. Book. I mean, one of my all-time favorite books is The Hours, which was made into the movie with Nicole Kidman and Julianne Moore. But that book was incredible, absolutely incredible. It's not really a feel-good, but I love that book. I love it. Movie is probably The Mission. Super old, but the soundtrack by Ennio Morricone is incredible. Robert De Niro, Jeremy Irons, I mean, everyone was like incredible in that movie. It was your choice not to have kids, ? Yes, it was my choice not to have kids. Besides New York, have you lived anywhere else in the US? I get DC vibes from you. No, I grew up in Jersey and then lived in New York City from age 17 on, and then moved here 8 years ago to Vegas, Las Vegas. Have you ever traveled to Australia and New Zealand? I haven't. I would like to. That's far, but I would like to. What are your Vegas recommendations? We're traveling with teenagers. I would see a show. I would see the Cirque du Soleil show at Bellagio. That's the only one really worth seeing. The other ones are okay. That's the only one I think that's worth seeing. Stay away from Wynn's show, Awakening. It's terrible. And I don't say that often, but it's terrible. Teenagers, you can go hiking in Red Rock Canyon. You can go to Area 15. I think that would be great for them. Because as teenagers, they can be on the casino floor, but they can't gamble or like kind of hover around the tables and stuff. So that's kind of out. But Area 15 is great. They have a place in there called Dueling Axes where you can throw axes. That's fun. And you can go go-karting. I think, depending on how old your teenagers are, I think you may be able to go go-karting. I would just check the age. That's it. You can drive to Hoover Dam. That's like not that far away. You can do that easily in a day. And then I got this question a few times, so I will end it here because I'm on my third battery change and my camera's overheating. So I got a lot of questions about like, how do I stay consistent with my diet and my workout? And, you know, how do you stick to your healthy routine? You know, what motivates me to stay on track? So a lot of these types of questions. So thoughts that I have to stay motivated is really just surrounding health. And in turn, because I started doing this weight training, I've now started thinking about like, okay, well, what actually feeds my body? Because when I don't eat well, and then I do see my trainer the next day, I don't feel good and I'm not able to lift as much. I feel weaker. And so now that I've seen this sort of direct correlation, it's like I know that, you know, having pizza for dinner is not going to give me a great workout the next day. Sometimes, not all the time, because, you know, I do go off the rails. But most of the time I'll say like, oh, it's not worth it. I'm just gonna have my chicken breast or whatever. And, you know, when so-and-so comes to visit, we'll go out to eat like something naughty or whatever. And so I think having not just this distant, kind of vague and abstract notion of like staying mobile, that doesn't help me in the day-to-day. It's what drove me to make a change. And then the aesthetics thing, you know, you can justify any decision like, oh, well, it's just, you know, it's just 100 more calories if I have this versus that or whatever. Like you start to play mind games. But I think if you have a very direct, like consequences situation, like I just illustrated, like I'm gonna have a really bad workout if I eat this, or maybe you're training for like a 5K, maybe you've never run a race before. Like, you know, there's a certain way you should eat to fuel that. And so maybe, I'm sorry, I'm kind of like forming this as I go, maybe having an actual like fitness goal is really important to keep you on track, because that's the day to day. Like I said, like having thoughts of like, well, I want to be able to walk when I'm 80. It's so abstract. It's so far away that it's like, okay, yeah. Sometimes that gets me out of bed. Sometimes I'm like, you want to stay mobile, Michelle, and I'll, you know, get dressed and go to the gym. Going to the gym is not my problem. It is not what I have a problem with. I can pretty much go. Even if I'm tired, even if I kind of don't feel like it, I'll go. I developed a really good habit working out when I was much younger. Like I did sports in high school and, you know, there's practice and all of that. And my dad was really active. So working out was never a problem for me. It's the eating. And so having the direct, like, if I eat that, I will feel like crap at the gym is really good, is really, really good. The other thing I like to do, because I like to eat cleanly when I'm home, when I go off the rails, it is when I'm vacationing, when I go out to eat with friends, when I go out to eat with my husband, like we're kind of eating the same way, it's fine. We'll like pretty much stay on course. But when I go out to eat with friends and maybe they want to get a burger or pizza, it's like, okay. Or like when I have friends visiting from out of town, you know, yeah, they're like, oh, let's make dinner reservations, let's go out or whatever. And I don't want to be stressed about it. And I'll try and make good decisions when I go out, but I'm not gonna, you know, like eat before and then sit there and not eat. Like, you know, it's not that serious. So with that being said, what I like to do then is think about like, okay, well, I'm gonna eat well this week. Matthew, my friend Matthew's coming to visit this weekend. I know I'm gonna like, you know, eat what I want while he's here. So I know before then I have to be pretty good. Having those little breadcrumbs, if you will, of like, oh, you know, Matthew's visiting, so whatever. And before this, you know, it was like, okay, Thanksgiving, I know that's gonna be kind of crazy. And I know like in my head, when I'm done with Mishmas, I'm probably just gonna be relaxing or whatever. I'm probably gonna wanna sit on the couch and snack and watch Netflix or whatever. So I have that in the back of my head. So maybe just like planting like far out, not too often, but planting like breadcrumbs for yourself to kind of like things to look forward to so that you stay on track in the meantime. That could help too. I know that's helped me. That's helped me a little bit. But I try not to go too crazy when I go off the rails. I try not to like drive off the side of a cliff. Like I just kind of go off track a little bit, because I have noticed also that when I go off track, like in the beginning, when I first started doing this, I'd be like, I deserve a cheat meal. And I would go like bad. I would have Five Guys and then like ice cream. And it was really hard to reel it back in. And I realized, well, if I just like cheat, but like not like lose my mind and just like have a little bit of something that's like, you know, not part of my protocol, then it's much easier to like get back on track. Like I didn't, like I said, I didn't like drive off the side of a cliff. So maybe that helps too. Maybe that'll help you. Like the thought of that is helpful in like making decisions and kind of staying on track. But you know, it's the big picture. So just try and be consistent, you know, 80% of the time. It doesn't have to be all the time, but like most of the time, not all the time. All right, guys, my camera is overheating, so I'm gonna go, but I think I got to most of your questions. So thank you guys so much for all of these great questions. And for those of you who are new to my channel, I hope you feel like you know me a little bit more. I hope everyone is enjoying Mishmas so far. We're still in the first week. We're still in the first week. We got a long way to go, but I just appreciate you guys tuning in so much. So anyway, I will see you in tomorrow's Mishmas video. Bye.